Hey everybody, welcome to the NDA Podcast. I am Rob D, aka Sketchcraft, and this is the podcast live stream, art stream for artists by artists. And tonight you got two of them, me, Sketchcraft, my buddy over here, Uncle Jerk, who is doing a little distress ink coloring going on there.
Whoop.
Color. May as well just call
it. Pick that up.
I know, wonder you got that from, right? Little Hunter Thompson. Love it. Love it. If you'd like to see what Uncle Jerk is working on, just follow Jerk Comic on Twitch. Links are in the description right now. So you can go there, you can turn it on, follow him while I work. And what am I working on? Nothing. No, I work on things I can't talk about. And if I say even get into it right now, it'll slow me down. I'm super busy. So here's the deal. I'm going to work on secret stuff. But behind me, over here, we'll play things I've done in the past. Tonight, it's going to be color penciling, Talon, from Cordell's. I did these commissions a few years ago, Uncle Jerk, where I was trying to take the proportions and give them all little Mega Man Legends like proportions, like with the legs and stuff. Yeah. So just thought it'd be fun to give that a shot, but not make it look anime, just kind of work some of the proportions into my stuff and make something kind of new. And did the whole thing in color pencil polychroma. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play now on that. And I just wanted to give everyone else another update. I will only be streaming for the next month on Thursdays, maybe Tuesdays when Uncle Jerk, so he can join me. We'll see that. I'm just super busy right now. But if I don't stream something, the damn channel stops sharing things with you. So thanks, YouTube, for making my life even slightly more complicated than it needed to be. Appreciate it. Hey, what's up, D Graves? Thanks for hanging out. But I'm pulling 80 hours a week right now, folks. All right, like
Jesus, Rob.
We're as Chef Ramsay would say, we're in the fucking weeds. Like, that's where I'm at. You get to that age where you're just like, I'll go put on the bear and relax. You know what I mean? Like, just watch fishes, and I'm like, yeah, that's chill.
God. Talk about killing yourself with work.
Hey, Gang Feathers in the chat room. Gang Feather says the level of focus you have boggles your ADHD brain. Yeah, it's something. It's something. Definitely. If I didn't look, I'm telling you now, if I suffer from ADHD, I none of this is getting done. So I do have the ability to focus. So whatever. But I need to do that now. And so we're just going to chat freely. If you guys want to share your nerd news, give me your nerd news and we will talk nerd news while I am working on what I'm working on. Same with you, Uncle Jerk. If you got any nerd news you want to talk about, you want to get a little shout out to our buddy James Windsor Smith, his Kickstarter going on?
I do. I was going to say I am super excited, guys. Like, I had been friends with James Windsor Smith, and he goes by James Banderas Smith as well. He has got a Kickstarter going on. James had like 2 strokes a few years ago, and like they told him like, oh, you'll never draw again, blah blah blah. Well, he learned to draw again, and he's put out like I think 6 comics in the last 3 years. He's just killing it, man. But I'm super excited because this recent one that he launched, he actually has he listened to me and put a physical tier in there so you can get a commission from him. His watercolor, phenomenal. I love it. He's done a couple of pieces for me as like favors over the years, whenever he comes up to it. And I just cannot recommend checking his stuff out enough. I will be showing up in some issues. I'm doing some 4-page backups in there, so be supporting too, guys. But mostly, it's just I don't know if you guys follow James or you go follow James, you'll understand very quickly what I'm talking about. He's just like a magnanimous force that we need more of in the industry.
And he sounds just like Oliver Pratt. So if you watch The Bear and you see their uncle running around and you listen to James, get back to him. Get your feedback on that, folks. I want to hear you. I think he sounds just like Oliver Pratt, and I love it. So got a soothing voice when he talks. You can just listen to him talk about anything for hours on end. I kind of feel I have like an annoying voice, you know, like.
Well, what's so cool is that James refused to do interviews until he did an interview for me on the channel because he was embarrassed of how he talked after his strokes. And
Oh, okay.
And then we ended up doing the Richard
He ain't
Friend.
taking offense to my whole. He talks like Oliver, right?
No, man.
A renowned actor, I might say.
Oh, like seriously, like I told James, like at one point we did an episode of Three Jerks, and I was like, dude, I was like, your voice, like it's like he sounded like James, and I was so happy and so excited because it's just a matter of like forcing yourself to fucking do that shit over and over and over again and getting comfortable. And it was like really cool because he's a really smart guy, and like having him on the Three Jerks was like invaluable because he's one of the few dudes who can like interrupt me and drop knowledge and be like, no, dude. I'm like, oh shit, okay, what's up, James?
Yeah, you can listen to all. You can listen to Uncle Jerk and James speak on Richard Friend's. If you know Richard Friend, famous inker, been inking for 30 years. He's inked Travis Charest. He's inked everything. Over at Richard Friend's, is it just Richard Friend? Is that the name of his YouTube channel?
Yeah, just Richard Friend.
Yeah, Richard Friend. Yeah. And so he did a Three Jerks podcast for a little while, and super fun. I mean, I used to hang out and watch it all the time. So,
and have no fear, that podcast is coming back, and it is going to be called The New Jerks. Unfortunately, Richard won't be able to join us. But
oh no,
it's going to be me and James, and then we're going to have a revolving cast of people, such as Rob Duanis, who I am definitely.
Oh no, Jerks, the college years, right? The next generation of jerks, right?
Hey man, you got to be fostering the next generation of jerks. I'm just saying. Gotta be looking towards the future. All right.
Right. Super fun. We got a question here from D Graves. How long did it take you to get into the earliest example of my style? You're just spending the rest of your time kind of perfecting it, huh? How long did it take me to get into this? Well, that's a hard thing. I took the long road, actually. Like I started, this is kind of like how I used to draw, and then I put it all away to have a career, and then I got tired of that career and went back to how I draw. Had to start my career all over again. And now I don't know, like every year or so I get a new project and I work something a little new into it, so it kind of changes, you know, as we go along. Like on Spawn Kills Every Spawn, I worked in some Bill Watterson kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's there if you look for it, you know. It's just like line weights.
Watterson shit. Especially that was the part that I like best, was like the comedy angle of Bill Watterson. I feel that like biting, satirical, like Calvin snark coming off of fucking a lot of those characters.
Yeah, it's the I'm still figuring this character out. Sometimes I like to draw him with like Calvin, where he has like no knees and little tiny, but then when he starts to jump around, I gotta like stretch the legs out. And I think sometimes he looks like a teenager when I do that. So I'm still working at how to, you know, like how to do that, because I don't want the stuff to just look like Scotty Young's Marvel stuff, you know what I mean? Or his baby style.
Oh,
like,
okay. I get
Yeah. And it's not anything I think gets it. It's just that's kind of like the default to draw like chunky chibi style, you know? And I'm like, no, I kind of want to go 90s Nickelodeon, but no one ever really mixed that action figure, you know, art, the 90s action figure art. So that's what I call that, like action figure art, like, you know, image stuff with like Capcom and with 90s Nickelodeon cartoons. Like I've never seen that of you. Like could you show me if you have? Because I'd really like to have someone else figure this out.
Yeah, no, I saw someone do it perfect.
Right.
Have you not heard of
Sketchcraft? I know. So yeah, it's always a work in progress.
Dude, I don't know if you're following him, Rob.
Yeah, it's always a work in progress, and sometimes I hit it, sometimes I don't. I try to like go, well, when in doubt, you know, like when in doubt, make a funny shape. I don't know. It's funny, you know, like I got some people who go, oh man, you just draw an Invader Zim. And I'm like, okay, first off, if I was, I'd be done with this book by now. Like, I really wish you got to understand, like that's an easy character to draw. And if that's the case, then like all of the variant covers would look like Invader Zim. And I don't really think that's the case at all. Like, you know, like the other artist drawing the character. So like I'm trying to change or create something new in the Spawn sphere. And I don't know. Look, man, by the time I kind of got it figured out, I'll be done with this first series. And so the really question
series, but
well, we don't know. I've not been told.
Obviously, you never know, but even if it's not necessarily like right away, like you're adding to the zeitgeist you're building. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I'll listen. You know, like
no, I mean legitimately, like I think that if nothing else, like it's really important that this series is important because it shows like the flexibility of art and approaches to the character, and like you're not just like phoning shit in, you're like really bringing some interesting stuff to it that's like, for a book that's technically comedy, you know, it's not like it's super deep dives, man, like stuff that only a real fan would know. You know what I mean? Like
I think someone complained on I listen to all the complaints. I love it. But they were saying something like, who is this book for? You know, like I don't know who this is for. And I'm like, well, it's kind of for me. Like at the end of the day, like you know, I would love to say, hey, I would like to make something that is for absolute newbies. And I think that is the case. But I also think like with anything else I do, man, I have like 3 layers to like I learned this in t-shirts. Okay, let me maybe it might be easier to explain this in t-shirt terms. So when I'm laying out a t-shirt, I have level 1, and level 1 is make a design that that particular customer at this store is going to want, whether it's Walmart or Hot Topic or whatever, right? That's level, and that's just, you know, you're playing to the audience that you know you got, and there are different people who shop there, so that's how that works. And that could take your whole career to figure out. Level 2, I had to think about this today because like this is true. Like level 2 is okay. Now I'm also putting in some kind of like story into that thing, even if it's humor, that a fan of that would get. Like a fan would go, oh man, like that's from the 90s, or that's, you know, from this particular storyline or something like that, you know. That's level 2. Level 3 is I put something in there that's also in there that 1 out of 100 people are going to get, and that's for the super fan. You know, that serves nobody but that one person who goes, dude, you know what that is, you know, like in you know, like in Captain, like in, when it was it Iron Man, when he sees that shield, that Captain America shield, you know what that is? You know, like it's like, yeah, that's for the super fan. So, and I do that to reward, you know, the people who've paid attention in life. Because, you know, I always respected when I saw stuff like that. So it's not like, oh, I'm trying to fill it up with references or art styles for the sake of doing it, which I think is what most people do. Like they'll just be, okay, here's a page, and on the shelves all these books and knickknacks, and there, see, like no. The trick is to, if you're gonna do that, to make sure it's telling a story about that world.
Have you ever heard
and about the fandom? Huh?
Have you ever heard George Perez talk about like the layout, the double page spread from a Hulk Future Imperfect?
Yes, I have actually.
Oh, were you the one who told me that story?
Yeah, I was the one who told you that story.
It encapsulates your approach right there that you're talking about.
Yeah, George Perez famously drew this like a museum piece, right, in Future Imperfect. It's like a trophy room. It's a trophy room, and it had like all these like Thor's hammer, Wolverine skeleton, but and I saw him once at Comic-Con, like 94, 95, 96, somewhere around there. when he was at Event Comics. He was drawing this book called Crimson Plague. And I was geeking out. And he was like, "You're too young to know who I am." And I'm like, "No, fuck no, man. You know, I know who you are." And so I was a huge fan. But I was asking him about that page. And I said, "Man, I just love how you drill this stuff." And he said to me that it wasn't really about drawing all this stuff. It was that each one of those things was like an issue of a comic that never got made, about, you know, like that each one's a story. You know, there's a battle that took place. There's a tragic tale that took that place. You know, lives were sacrificed, lives were, you know, saved, you know, this kind of thing. But there's tragedy behind each one of those things. It's not just trying to find all the stuff you can think of to draw in there. So now, are you able to do that all the time? No, you know, but sometimes you can do that even with art styles. Like I worked the Capcom shapes in because I'm a huge fan of Marvel. I really love Marvel superheroes and Children of the Atom. I know everyone loves Marvel versus Capcom games, but I liked those two games because those had storylines and they weren't like just team up fest for me. You know, like you were playing the Infinity Saga. Like I didn't read the Infinity Gauntlet. I didn't read none of that shit, man. I played Marvel superheroes.
Oh.
So in my mind, I was like, man, I hope they do Age of Apocalypse next. You see what I'm saying? As a fighting game. I hope they do, you know, even Onslaught, even Heroes Reborn. How great would that be, right? Right?
Dude,
to playing those different art styles and do battles, you know, like, yeah.
Well, Joe Matt ended up doing, he did do cover art for,
yeah, I have the poster right here on my door.
Of course you fucking do. What was it?
Yeah.
Superhero? Was
Marvel
it
Superheroes.
Marvel
Yeah,
Superheroes?
Marvel
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm gonna get it wrong and sound like an asshole.
He did two pieces, a horizontal piece that Tim Townsend inked, and then he did the full poster, which I have the poster right there.
I don't know if I've ever seen the one with Tim Townsend.
Yeah, it's like a wide shot one. It's the one that ended up on like the PlayStation cover art, CD cover art and stuff.
Oh, never mind. Okay, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
I know.
This one's more vertical, the one on my door.
Yeah, the cool one, the money shot.
Yeah. So, like, obviously, none of those things ever happened, but in my mind, like, it made sense that it would. You know,
it's like and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to totally derail you, but like that's the approach that I appreciate about the whole, like, your style and the way that you came at the storytelling, is I feel like there's like a whole world that you can like build off of and like grow from there, that's not just necessarily like kitschy bullshit or like trying to like poke fun at everything all the time, which it could be.
No, man. I have a saying and I stand by it. It's called have fun, but don't make fun.
Okay.
You know, so it's like you should feel like, oh, this is fun. But I'm not like, it's not like remember they did that stupid spoof. They did that spoof comic, right, with Spawn and the capes going like it's like 200 miles long and it's draping over them and stuff, and it's all very well drawn. All that stuff was very well drawn, but it was making fun of Spawn and stuff like that, and that's not what I'm trying to do. So, but then you do find that each project needs its own thing. Like, would I try to mix the Nickelodeon shapes into, like, if I was doing just let's say an Angela miniseries, right? Mm-hmm. No, I wouldn't. I would probably lean much more into the Capcom side of things, but I would put in the Carlos Maglia and Keith Giffen Trencher stuff in there too, to mix it up, because that I was like, in my mind, I'm like, that makes total sense. I don't know if that makes sense to everyone else, like that's where I get the Rob's weird. I'm like, yeah, I expect that from people, because, I'm not going to do, you'll be like, oh, this looks familiar. And yet, I'm not retreading the same territory. So I think, but I don't know.
But I don't know.
William Walker's here. What's up, dude? Valthorn says, why the preference for mechanical pencils? Everything I've ever seen pushes wood. Because it taught me to press lightly, to not break the lead on mechanical pencil. I got real bad carpal tunnel by 2008 to the point where I couldn't move my arm or hand or anything. So I bought a Cintiq and immediately worked on digitally, because I was doing everything with really tight wooden pencils, like 4H's, right? And that was just controlling too much, man. So I immediately bought a Cintiq so I could start learning how to digitally ink my rough sketches and stuff, you know. And then that helped with the pressure control there. I could stop pressing hard. And then after a couple years of that, when I went back to doing commissions, I moved to mechanical pencil because those leads are fragile. You press too hard, snap. You know, so you sort of learn how not to press hard that way. Yeah. And then these color pencils, man, like they're obviously wood, but they're buttery, so you don't have to add much pressure at all. Sigru Velat says, this looks awesome. Hope you're doing fine. Follow for saying I played more. I love Marvel superheroes, man. I mean, the first time I saw Marvel superheroes was when Spawn 29 came out, the Christmas issue where he's got the Santa bag. Probably like one of my favorite. It's my favorite or second favorite cover. It's my second favorite cover because my first favorite is the Angela cover. But that Santa bag, yeah, and that was the first time I saw that. I want to say it was Christmas of '94, right, or '95. I can't remember.
95, I think.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And so, yeah, and I was just like, oh man, you get the gems. It was just so smart to me. Like you collect the gems while you fight, and then you get the bone. Like I never saw them really work in a good storyline into a fighting game before, right? Mostly the fighting games are just, you know, you fight and then there's an ending screen. But this was like, oh wow, we can actually work a Marvel storyline into here in the way that maybe like the Marvel beat 'em ups were doing that, like the Punisher beat 'em up, you know, which I love, but the fighting games weren't doing any of that.
Well, yeah, the same team though, actually.
Same team, but you know what I mean? It just wasn't being done.
No,
you know,
no, I agree. I'm just saying, like, it was so rarely done that was the same team. Yeah, it was that.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, and that was all recycled Jim Lee stuff.
Yeah.
So
and but then it's dawned on me, okay, you know, because fighting games don't require a ton of story, you could take storylines that probably weren't that great story-wise and make awesome fighting games out of them. You know, like you could condense Age of Apocalypse down. You could make, you know, Heroes Reborn and the Onslaught into one thing. You know what I mean? Fight Onslaught at the end. Like it starts with, you know, you could do all those things. And in a fighting game, to me, I'm like, well, then, you know, you're not required to have it make too much sense. You know, like you could do the Venom, the Symbiote Saga as a fighting game, in my opinion, with all the Spidey villains and Spider-Man and all that stuff, you know, like Nightfall would be a great fighting game in my head, you know, in my head. So, but it just never happened. Those things never materialized. Once they did Marvel versus Capcom, it just just went that route, you know. And so people love it. It's fine, but I'm more of a Children of the Atom Marvel superheroes guy. So, such is life.
yeah, that was the whole thing with like giving it a storyline and stuff was kind of an accident. Wasn't really an intentional let's give it structure thing, unfortunately. So that's why it was not repeated.
Hawthorne said that's a good point. Maybe with a 2B for graphite, it would work the same as your bit messy. Yeah, I don't really draw with lead anymore, though. I draw with red pencil, so none of that really matters to me anymore. So, and that's mostly because I have something else I didn't really realize for a long time, something called synesthesia, where I see everything in color. Even when I'm drawing, I see words and numbers and shit in color. So when I draw in black and white, it kind of gives me headaches. I used to really give me bad headaches reading Spy versus Spy as a kid, or the color comic. I had to wait till like the Sundays to read comics. Black and white comics used to give me headaches. Yeah, I've gotten better at it, you know, but I can't. I have to take breaks. if when I read manga or anything black and white, I have to take, and then even my own art, like when I'm drawing lines, it's like I have to stop looking at it every hour or so, you know, like and step away and go, man, this is,
That's
you know.
I didn't know that, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I knew you
yeah.
had it. I didn't know that it was that much of a problem. That's crazy.
It is. I struggle with it sometimes. Yeah, I struggle with it, dude.
Crazy, dude.
So it's like one way I can get around it when I'm drawing is I just pretend it's in color while I'm working.
Just see the color, man.
I just think about how that's green and that's yellow and that's going to go here and that's going to be the sunrise and that's the sunset, and I can kind of trick my brain a little bit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
But then again, that's like
Mhm.
Mike Allred, you know. I mean, he's like basically colorblind, and I've got a color piece from him, and you'd never know. Like, what the fuck?
We all learn to deal with it, you know.
I was gonna say you guys learn to cope. True artists learn to cope.
Valvan asks, what 0.5 red do you recommend? I use the Pentel red. I use Pentel red. Pretty cheap. You can get a bunch of it. It's fragile, but I use the Kuratoga. Mechanical pencil, which kind of has like a stabilizer at the tip, so helps stabilize a little bit. Which Pentel red? Oh, just red. There's two kinds of red. I always just get red, man. Where's my? I can't take too much time off doing. Where's my? I know, right? I'm gonna be looking. There's a different kind of red.
That's what I was wondering. I only really remember there being that one type of red and blue.
Yeah, there's a red and a blue. Like that's all there is, man. Right?
Yeah, non-photo line blue and non-photo line red, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's their names.
High polymer. There you go. High polymer. I don't know what that other one is.
They do make. I guess he might be asking about because they do make wax ones. Those are ass.
Oh.
Do not use the wax ones.
I have a stupid. Where's my freaking bag that has the pen? Damn. Of course, like right when I need the one little bag, it's not here. I don't know. Every bag is supposed to be right here, Uncle Jer.
Right.
What happened to it? I have every art supply right now except this one bag. This is crazy. Is it behind my? No.
Don't worry, I'm looking for my razor blades, so I feel you.
Where did it go? I have it right here.
Okay.
I had it right here. I mean, I kind of need this bag, so like, it's not like.
Now I have to find it.
Yeah, that's. Oh, here it is. I'll read it off to you. I'm not trying to hide the supplies, guys.
Sure, Rob.
Yeah, it just says Pentel 0.5 millimeter, 60, 0.5 millimeters, 60 millimeter, 12 pieces red. Spare lead. Doesn't say high polymer or anything on there.
There's a wax-based one. If you see something,
It just comes in this. Can you guys see this? It just comes in this little red thing. These little diamond deals. Pentel spare red lead. I don't know, man. I've always just gotten that Pentel 0.5 millimeter red lead. Little diamond case. Wish it could be of better help.
Wish I could be of more help, man. Rob's lying. He doesn't want to help anybody. I think we all.
I'm hoarding my secrets.
I was gonna say, I think we all just know Rob's just hiding all of those secrets. Never shares with any of us.
Hiding the secrets.
Definitely never pestered him about shit.
If people learn my tricks, then I'll be out of a job. I like my trick is you just work until you drop. Like that's, you know.
Oh yeah, Mario, you'll have to mute one of the streams. You should be able to hear Rob if you mute my stream. Sorry. I know it's weird, man, but I have to at least keep my stream going to like show him working on stuff.
Valthorn says that's the high polymer line. Oh, okay. Mix that with the yyeeaah points. I have before. These days I just use the Pentel. Yeah. So I thought I'd use the 0.7 back in the day for coverage, but I just don't even bother. I just use the 0.5. So I don't really need coverage anymore. I just go straight to color pencil. So I don't. If I need a large block of value, then I just go to color. I just don't worry about it. Megamar says, "True, been promising those art tip videos. What have I been promising? Is he calling me out?"
Well, I think he was talking about the ones where you were going to do the process videos. But if you remember, Rob has been saying he was going to do those process videos after he was done with the
after Spawn, dude.
Crippling time, destroying.
I said, I know. I've been promising for a while. I've been talking about it for 2 weeks, Mario. You act like I announced Blade 5 years ago and we're still working on it, you know? Like,
he's working on the Goon movie right now, all right? So just give him a little bit of time. Oh, come on.
Yeah, we'll get this. That's what I get for ever mentioning anything, you know?
Oh, I know. I hate mentioning stuff because then it takes me 10 years to get around to it. And everybody's like, when is that going to happen? I swear to God, I'm going to do it. You invent me fucking 10 hours extra in a day or pay me, and it is on.
I still don't know how I'm going to do that stuff without like editing. You know, that's the part that's bugging me. So it's like I may have to just come up with my own project, kind of like do the whole process, record it, and then do audio commentary on it, you know?
Yeah.
I have to make one of those kinds of videos because I can't see how doing that live is going to help. So.
Oh my God, I hate this. Fucking peeling this shit apart is such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, when I get into the weeds, man, I just put on all my KMFDM instrumentals. That's how I roll, dude.
My default is Slasher Dave, so I feel you. I'll just put his stuff on repeat.
Every time that I need it without the lyrics, though, you know. Otherwise, I need time to disappear, and lyrics kind of make it like.
That's what I'm saying. Slasher Dave's all instrumental. Yeah. It's that horror music. Like, I can space this.
Every time Ultra comes on, I just go Vega. Holy shit, it's Vega. I was like, why did the Street Fighter anime have harder music than the Mortal Kombat movie?
Well, they got into a bunch of shit over that. Having KMFDM on the soundtrack and shit. Like, they originally that for the US release. And yeah, it was a thing. That's why if you get the DVD, it's like the unrated UK edition with the full soundtrack. Because I remember getting that VHS and being like, wait a minute, where's Soundgarden and Alice in Chains and KMFDM? And wait, what? Gypped.
Well, there's always someone online who's got that real version, you know?
Oh, they released it on DVD, thankfully, and Blu-ray now. Though I don't own the Blu-ray. Shamefully. I should. That should change my life.
Yeah, I remember saving up for that for Suncoast and then bringing the widescreen version in to high school, you know.
Oh,
It's like, this is the real Street Fighter, you know. Not that. Then I watched the Fatal Fury OAVs and I was like, okay, Fatal Fury did it better because all three connect, you know.
truth.
So, I mean, I wanted to not think it was better because I like Street Fighter more than Fatal Fury, but I was like, they all connect. They tell a complete story. Yeah, they win. and the animation, you know, is good on the two OAVs, but the fucking movie animation's phenomenal. I mean, it's not Akira level, but it's really good, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, all of those fucking old animes are surprisingly well fucking done. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion. Because I remember whenever they were coming out, I just expected them all to look like yes. And they didn't.
The author says, logical. That's what I always wondered. Since I like color over traditional comic coloring, I can't figure out why I need to block in. Oh, yeah. I don't worry about all that.
Oh, yeah, there's a Fatal Fury one, and the Fatal Fury OVA is fucking cool.
Yeah, there's Fatal Fury, then there was Mark of the Wolves, and then the motion picture, right?
Yep. Yeah, there's.
See, look, man, I know my shit, man. Like, come on. I know my 90s. People are like, you don't know who Doja Cat is? I'm like, no, and I'm 46. I shouldn't, but I fucking know I know my KMFDM. You know what I'm saying?
I also don't ride around in a fucking ice cream van looking for fucking 3-year-olds. Thank you. What the fuck? No, I don't know who Doja Cat is.
Right.
You were talking
like,
about that, and I was like, I would love to laugh at this, but I don't have any fucking clue who Doja Cat
Brandon. Well, Brandon always does it. He goes, "You don't know who Bad Bunny is?" I'm like, "No, man, I don't fucking know who Bad Bunny is." Like,
Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the whole thing, man. I'm just like, no, dude, that's your shit, man. Yeah, there was 2 OVAs in the motion picture, and all the stories continue. So because some people see the motion picture and they go, "It's not enough." I'm like, no, there's 2 other fucking ones, dumbass. Like, you got to go. You'll get a whole thing out of it if you watch all of them.
Oh, they were all done by Masami Obari.
See, Uncle Jerk knows his shit.
No, that's Roland. Roland knows his shit. He's my go-to guy. Fucking like, he's really good at that shit. He can really recall my new shit. He's fucking awesome about that shit. No credit for me on that one. But they're all done by one guy, you know. So you do. I know you got like a like a continuous story, which is not often the case with that stuff.
Never the case. And there was a lot. Like was there a Samurai Showdown anime? Because I remember some of that stuff not being very good. Was it? There was stuff like that you would go, oh, this will be dope too, and it wasn't. Like Tekken had one, right? I want to say there was some, because I remember seeing these one-offs that I was like going to be all excited for, and then I watched them and going like, it's not that good. What happened?
Maybe not. Yeah, Tekken was really bad in my opinion. They had a anime, and it is.
Bowthorn says, before I split, any recommendations on what to use when learning to draw a little bit more cartoony? Yeah, well, if you want to learn to draw cartoony, my advice would be 3 things. 1, do time gesturals. And time gesturals will get you to learn action shapes and action lines. And I'll do 10 all based on photo reference or in real life if you can, but photo reference is fine. I usually use photo stock. And then I'll do construction practice where I'll take those gestural and build construction, new shapes out of them. But when you have time, you could do 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds, that's something. And then construction after that. And then those are where you take those gestuals and rebuild everything in 3D to kind of find those shapes and start to create your own shape library. That's why I like to call it shape library. You learn in different shapes. And you really want those shapes to kind of come from you more than trying to force them to happen. Because I tend to think when people try to force that stuff to happen, they're like, I don't know, man, like trying to hide mistakes sometimes. Like I'll draw a nose this way because I can't do it. And versus, when I found this nose shape that kind of came out of my creative side of my brain. And then the third thing would be practice caricature. And I don't mean the kind at the carnival and shit because that's not good. But I mean like Thomas Fluharty, that kind of caricature, where portraits. You take like you really learn to differentiate between the proportions. Steven Silver has some good basic entry level stuff in his art books, about caricature for good proportions and stuff. Maybe another good one I'd recommend. And you'll see me if you follow any of my socials. You'll see a couple times a year I start doing caricatures and stuff. That's usually when I want to build some new shapes. So you get good enough, even you can get people to then pay you for those caricatures, and you start to get paid to learn, basically. And you can do that with dogs, animals, birds, cars, pencils, anything really, not just portraits. Like, So it's that shape design, gesturals, shape design, construction, and caricature. Caricature everything. Caricature cars, caricature trees. Like just go out in your backyard, take a photo, and then sometimes I sit down and go, I'll draw these rocks 5 different ways, and start coming up with rock shapes, plant shapes. We used to take like maybe 3 different kinds of shapes to kind of create a lot of foliage, but out of 3 different shapes. I mean, there's levels, guys. There's levels. There's levels. And I reapply that stuff into like Spawn, especially in issue 4. There's a lot of like foliage, and I end up coming to like, because I don't, you don't have time to draw everything, but you want to get certain things in there. So I got a couple Watterson style trees, and then I got some other style shapes that give me plants and bushes. And you start to build like 3 or 4 shapes that you can use to create a continuity out of like a certain town. And so you can give each town its own look and feel by coming up with specific shapes for that town. So that town will feel different than a stylized city or a stylized other town. And then you have to find out if you love doing that, because I could do that all day. I love doing that. Like you got to really, when it comes to cartooning, you really want to fall in love with the shapes. If you don't love the shapes and you just love the rendering, then I don't know if it might not be for you. Like seriously.
It's not. It's very, I am all about rendering and like detail and stuff. And it can be it's extraordinarily beneficial, but it's hard. It's going to be work. It's like drawing that's work. Okay. It sucks.
That's why I think a lot of folks just jump to anime because it's kind of already figured out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it's kind of a proven technique on how to like get things done fast. But for me, it's like I like to incorporate different things to create my own. I like to think that people go, "Oh, Rob, you look just like so and so." I'm like, really? Show me the cover that I look just like so and so. Because I've had just like so and so draw some of my shit, and it never looks like the same. I've worked with some professionals, and when I see the professionals draw my stuff, I'm like, yeah, I think in your head I remind you of people, but I don't think I'm drawing like anybody but me. Period.
You're not.
Right? I think I could say that, right? Like,
It can.
Yeah, because it's like but you are seeing like me playing with influence. So there's shades of stuff, but it's certainly me. And that's everybody. I mean, like if you're a cook, you're gonna bring your mama's cooking into your recipes, right? But it's not gonna be mama's cooking; it's gonna be yours.
Yeah,
My mom
I can see
wasn't really
stuff and at play in your work, but I can't. I would love for somebody to show me who you draw like, because I would love to check out some of their stuff.
That's why I get the weird thing from some of the newbies. It's just weird. I'm like, fair enough. I'm kind of reminded of that scene in Defending Your Life when they're eating. They can eat food in purgatory all they want, right? So they're at dinner with Meryl Streep's Albert Brooks is with his lawyer, who's Rip Torn, right? Rip Torn is the lawyer, his lawyer in purgatory, and Albert Brooks is having like all this sushi, so it's all this pasta, really great food. And he's like, "You want some of this?" And he goes, "No." And Albert Brooks looks at Torn's plate, and it's just like this weird Salisbury steak looking thing. And he goes, "What is that?" He's like, "Can I try that?" He's like, "Oh, this is for small brain people, IQ. Like it's about building up their IQ as they go through different levels of reality." And so he's at a high level. So he's like, "This would just taste like dog shit to you." And so I'm kind of like reminded, like when people who don't know anything about cartooning look at my stuff, it just looks like dog shit to them because they don't have the IQ. They not the mental ability, but the art IQ. The way people have fight IQ, like in the UFC and stuff,
Yep.
Or when people just listen to jazz, they just think people are just randomly playing shit, It's like, no, you don't have, the musical IQ to understand what's going on here. So it's fine. Valthorn says, "I'm a mini painter. Shapes are my bread and butter." Yeah, exactly. I'm just tired of feeling like all I did was paint other people. 100%. Which is another thing too. Like if you look at color pencil on YouTube, it's always people recreating photos. Sucks, right? Like all my shit is just I'm coloring my art. So, no reference, just having at it. So
Sorry, I'm cutting brisket. I fucking hate this.
I don't envy you.
I fucking hate cutting brisket.
And then, when you're drawing comics, you got to apply all that to the buildings, the lamps, the trees, and everything. And you do got to find a consistency so it doesn't get too wonky. And sometimes it does. Sometimes it does get too wonky, and I go, well, I went too far there, And that's just learning. But I'd rather go a little too far than a little too generic. That's kind of like where I stand now, especially in the algorithm age that we live in now, where everyone's like, "Well, you got to do this because that's what." No,
No. I don't do what anybody else does for any reason other than this is what I do. Thank you.
Sunbee's here. What's up, Sunbee? But you will find. I mean, I'm telling you, like, I wish I could have gone and just given myself this advice 20 years ago. Like, I had to kind of like work it out for myself. I thought when I went to art college, like they would explain it to me. No one did. I was like fighting all the way uphill, So
it's rare you find people in art school that truly want you to succeed. Sadly.
I'm like, I'm spending my money here, so let me do what I want to focus on here. Like, I get when they want to teach you stuff. That's one thing. Sadly, I didn't really have those. I had one or two instructors that could really teach you something. But even then, I had to be careful that I wasn't picking up their bad habits. I was always aware that was a possibility, that they may have just come through a system. Like, it's just very difficult. There are people you can learn from and you can trust just because they have such a high level of skill. Like Scott Robertson I put in that category. I think Drew Struzan's in that category. I'd listen to anything Bill Watterson said, you know. Now, maybe Bill Watterson's not helping himself right now, but you know what I mean? So I don't know, but at the same time, it's difficult. As people get older, I'm aware too. I'm like, am I gonna become dumb as I get older? Am I just gonna start making really weird shit? And I'm afraid of that. But if you're aware of it, you can deal with it. You know, you can go down that path. I don't know if it's making any sense.
If you're aware of it,
if you're aware of it. But I mean, look, I look at like some stuff that's out there that's super trendy and, you know, amazingly well rendered, and I'm like, am I Herb Trimpe looking at Rob Liefeld? Like, I can't do any of that. And then I realized, had Herb Trimpe just done what he had done and gone right to like gallery painting, he probably could have sold Marvel art in galleries and paintings and stuff, you know.
Oh yeah.
To high-end collectors that were a big fan of that golden age stuff. But Herb came from that blue collar mentality. He wasn't thinking that way, you know.
Oh, Herb Trimpe.
Yeah.
I loved Herb.
I stand by. I really think Marvel should have kept a legacy series of books just for, you know, to never give up that classic Marvel look, you know? Like,
yeah,
it didn't dawn on me until Bruce Timm did that Avengers cover, you know? Or, you know what I mean? Remember that one from like early 2000s? He did the original Avengers with like the old OG Iron Man and shit on there. Yeah.
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, super good, man. And then I was looking at, you know, then you start looking at Bruce Timm's like gouache paintings and stuff. You're like, they could have just been doing classic Marvel at a Marvel masterpiece level style with the covers, you know, and solid fucking. I mean, look, I'm telling you right now, you could draw a book that's just the Batman animated series style and move just as many copies as a lot of their other books, you know?
Well, they did.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like regularly, but today, I mean.
Well, they brought it back.
Yeah, you know, it looked a little too modern to me.
Okay, I mean, well, I would give it. Okay,
I would want it to look closer to the actual production. Remember, who was that guy who was doing all those cover recreations for a while? He would do all, like, any Marvel modern cover, like the Court of Owls, but he's doing them all in the Batman animated style.
Jesus,
with cell shading and shit. Yeah, dude, he was like, I want to say it was right before COVID. He was doing them all the time. I don't know. I hope he didn't die, dude. You know, but like, I just remember now, like for a while on Twitter, when it was still Twitter, that they would post it. And look, when he was doing cell shaded, and I'm like, there, you could take the best of these stories and just translate them into the animated books, you know?
There was a lot of stuff you could do like that. I don't know, man. Like, why Ty Templeton never was fucking like a household name is kind of weird to me, but
full gouache backgrounds, and you know, or even like the covers, you know.
Oh, fucking bitch, stay on there, damn it.
I saw Scotty's Absolute Batman cover. Thought that was hilarious. Very good.
I haven't seen it.
It's fun.
Good.
It's still Twitter. Mario, come on. Mario's still clutching onto his Dreamcast, thinking they're going to announce Dreamcast 2 any day now. Swear it's coming.
Hold your breath, brother.
JFK Jr. is going to resurrect in Dealey Plaza and bring us Dreamcast 2.
Lord knows I wouldn't mind seeing that program, you know, that system for sure either. Okay. But I don't see it happening.
Like, I made the conscious move a few years ago to try and make as much art with real solid lines, not the loose sketchy lines when I, because I wanted line traps and stuff, line traps, color holds, maybe called color holds. And so like a lot of art, digital art, especially, you can just take the sketch and start coloring right on the sketch. And most people do,
Yeah.
for time, but it's like, that isn't going to give me a solid book. It's just going to give me loose stuff. So like I worked very hard on being able to basically, I've created a work process for myself, a pipeline that allows me to do both, where I have the rough, but then I can go one step further and convert those to final lines, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I could do a cleanup pass, but I'm not using inking tools. I'm just using the same tools, and then I can convert those lines. I could convert the roughies and just go right over if I wanted to. But if you want the clean stuff, you need one extra pass. And I heard that from Ty Templeton at Comic-Con. He was like, yeah, I'd get a lot more work done, but I got to do this extra pass to get the cleanup. And that extra pass is what keeps me from being famous or prolific. I was like, yeah, but look at the result,
Yeah. Ty never got the fucking Ty just doesn't get the love he deserves. But
that's why I say gesturals are one thing, but then you still need to do a construction phase where you solidify things and make choices. I think artists that lean too much on sketch work, eventually they can't escape it.
I can see
and
that.
Then sometimes artists who lean on too much on technique, they lose that spontaneity in their art. They kind of just repeat themselves. They can't create new looks or new shapes. Kind of trapped. So
A lot.
These are the things I think about. Like I don't want myself to fall into it. So it's like, well, how do you get out of that? And it's like a little bit of everything consistently that rotates,
Yeah. Always be changing it up, always be trying something new, but identifying what works and doesn't work.
Well, I don't think I would try like so far radical new. Like it'd be like, oh, now I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna draw like Daniel Warren Johnson. Like that's not happening,
No, I just mean always be, be pushing yourself. Don't be complacent, I suppose is what I mean.
Well, that's where the traditional art comes in. I think traditional art is where you'll find new techniques more than digital, because digital sometimes you need like a brush or something to get you there, but on the page it's just technique.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I love traditional art.
Yeah, well, my colorist is so happy I'm not doing these pages traditional. I can tell you right now. Poor guy's like, I don't know, man. I'd probably quit.
I mean, those are like the pages that nightmares are made of.
Yay, nightmares.
As a colorist, man, I would see that and just be like, no, I didn't sign.
I saw the completed version of issue 4. It's the best looking issue yet. And I rarely make such a statement, but I can stand by it. There's a lot of reasons why that is, but at the end of the day, I'm just going to say solid teamwork, and we're figuring it out. We're figuring it out.
What it's all about, man.
That's in and out.
Teamwork.
In and out is what a hamburger is all about. You're not from California, so you don't really know that one, but
nope.
Had you actually gotten that job at a movie studio, you would have learned.
Yeah, I probably would have. I'll add that to my list of regrets.
It's like, I love that first Iron Man movie, right? It's great. But like Joe Rogan, but when he says all he wants is a cheeseburger, when Tony Stark goes, all I want is a cheeseburger, and he shows up with Burger King, no, you're not in LA and you get Burger King. You you getting in and out. Like, it's ridiculous. Everyone in the theater laughed when that happened. Like, no. I can believe all this Iron Man shit, but I can't believe that.
It's the little things, Rob.
Megan Mars says, I just got issue 3 and you're already hyping up issue 4. Yeah, issue 4 is nuts, and I'm knee deep in 5, but I can tell you, artistically, 4 and 5 are they're pushing limits.
Push it to the limit.
Yeah.
Walk along a rob's edge. I'm sorry. I'll quit.
I got a fun little geek out moment this week. Some guy sent me a photograph of his comics he picked up this week.
Mm-hmm.
And he picked up my comic, Liefeld's, and Capullo's book all at once. You know, Capullo's Wolverine book. And
yeah.
I was like, what, you know what I mean? Like, what timing, right?
True.
What timing, dude?
Couldn't really ask for much of a better. It's like the resurgence, rebirth shit of like, wow.
As a 90s guy, you couldn't ask for more than that, right?
Yeah.
I know you're not as big. You're into the 90s, but you know, you also got PTSD. So
I just
I don't blame you. I'm just saying.
No.
I always wonder when I talk about the 90s, will you like, are you gonna hit like that Kill Bill sound? You know?
It's just like, I think my thing is like a lot of those guys like still ride on those coattails and they're still really deified, and like there's issues from the comic industry that never got dealt with, and I attach all this unfair baggage to it. So I think it's more work coming on my part.
Sometimes I feel I do the same thing. Like for years, I refused to read or watch all these Sandman shows and shit because of the way Sam Keith got treated. And granted, it's been paying his bills, but I'm still like, the book looked better when he drew it. I don't give a fuck who says anything, you know? I just think the book looked better, other than Kelly Jones, right? Like Kelly Jones definitely had the fucking penultimate look, in my opinion, you know? But they're buddies, so I figure same studio, whatever. And then I thought, man, am I just, you know, fighting a fight or holding a flame to a candle that no one cares about? And then the shit comes out on Neil Gaiman. I'm like, nah, fuck that guy. You know, I don't want to be that guy who's after everything with Ed. I'm very careful about making judgments, but at the same time, fuck that guy. You know,
like, people, 3 continents, like open investigations. A little bit of a different situation.
Slightly different situation, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
And like to be fair, that's Karen Berger, not.
I know it is, and I'm being facetious here, guys. All right. Karen Berger was the real issue on that, you know, for certain. But you know what I mean.
Fucking cunt.
I'm not saying that. You said that.
Dude, I can't
use the word. I'll get in trouble. All right? I can't do it. My wife hears that one. I'm in trouble. I can't. So,
I can't imagine making like a young, self-conscious artist redo that much. Like, dude.
Yeah, it's bullshit what she did to him, dude. It's total bullshit. And I've worked for people like that, and it's fucking nonsense.
That's cool.
And you look at this work, and it's phenomenal, dude. Like, what the fuck? And then I just look at the overall art direction. The covers to Vertigo books were always brilliant. Like, Books of Magic covers were great. But I open it up, and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? You know, I'm sorry. I mean, every now and then something on Sandman, like Kelly shows up, great. But I didn't give a shit for the cat who took over, McKean, or whoever the fuck drew those interiors. I couldn't even tell you. So I just remember looking at it and go, it's boring. It was interesting before. It felt dark crystal. Sam's work had a dark crystal-like element for me, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And so like when I saw like the way he drew monsters and ghouls and just different creatures, I was like, this is so Jim Henson, dude. I fucking love it. And then it's like, no, we get rid of him, you know, because I got like this chick has no fucking imagination, you know?
Yeah. you're allowed to ink one piece from your fucking. I don't know. That's just gross. Whatever.
Yeah. So I get it. Sam is also, he's an artist. And I've sat in a room and listened to Sam Keith talk with me and like 25 people twice at Comic-Con, and he was always late. So,
Absolutely. Yep.
and he would go, "Sorry guys, I'm never gonna be on time." And I'm like, yeah. He always reminded me of Bruce McCullough from Kids in the Hall.
Yep.
You know? well, I sell shoes. Well, do I sell shoes? I sell shoes, you know? I worship Satan. Something, you know, not the most responsible guy. Like, he will just go off on a thing, you know? So the price of genius, I call that. But Kelly always seemed like the guy who was like, that guy can, Kelly has what I don't have, dude. And that's like real fucking craftsmanship talent, dude. Like, he can make those deadlines, dude.
I don't know how either, looking at his art.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But I wish the whole thing was done in Kelly's style too, Mario. I agree. You know, at the end of it, but I'm glad Sam's getting paid. So you know what I mean? Like, so no shade there.
Yeah, in the end, because of Neil Gaiman, he got 5% of the character.
Yeah. So I do appreciate Neil Gaiman for that. So I take back what I said.
I do have to, like, as much of a problem as I have with a lot of the stuff the guy's done and said over the years, and as questionable of a person as I find him sometimes, it is important to remember that he did stuff like that absolutely unprompted on his own after putting his job on the line with DC, because he insisted that this was a totally different version. This wasn't Jack Kirby's Sandman, that they were going to get the rights, and that if not, it was fine, but that he wouldn't be working for DC. And then they caved, and instead of taking the rights and running, Neil Gaiman chose to give them to Sam Keith, part of them to Sam Keith and Mike Drengenberg. And it is the reason that Mike Drengenberg, you know, quit doing conventions and doesn't have to worry about working, because he's a reclusive guy as well. It's allowed Sam to live a very comfortable life in the latter half of his life. So
yeah, and that's what really irks me about the fucking thing going on with Gaiman now, is if that can put any of that in jeopardy, you know?
It won't.
I know, but you know, it's always,
yes,
you know.
I get it, but it sickeningly, it will not.
So I'd like to think we've all matured to the point where it's like, you know, I look, I'm not a fan of Harry Potter. It wasn't my thing. I saw that coming a mile away in Germany when it first, I'm a kid from the 80s. So when I first saw Harry Potter, I'm like, this is just Harriet the Worst Witch, right? Like, I've already seen this fucking episode, right? Remember that one with Tim Curry and shit? Like,
yes, I remember that.
And Mrs. Garrett from The Facts of Life, where they're literally at a fucking school and they're for witches and they're doing soccer and shit up in the. They even got the same goggles with the flight training. I don't know, guys, you know, but you know, my wife, when I first met her, she was really into it, and I get it. And so when a monster, the person who makes it ends up becoming someone you don't like, right? I'm like, I'm not the person who goes, well, now you got to give up the thing you love, you know, and because the person who made it's a fucking nitwit. Like, I'm not doing it the same. I mean, and I'll tell you why. Like, my mom and I have very few happy memories with my mother, you know?
Yeah.
Like, very few. And, but one of them was when Ren and Stimpy first came out, you know, like, I had it on and she just happened to be in the room, and it was the Gritty Kitty litter when Stimpy wins the contest.
Mm-hmm.
And Ren goes, I'm the cat. And he starts eating the Gritty Kitty litter. And my mom never laughed so hard in her entire life. I never, before or since, you know? And so she'd turn off football to watch that cartoon, you know, for a good year or whatever that season was, right? However long that first season was. So it's like, I'm not going to I get the dude's a fucking asshole, but I'm not giving up the one happy memory I have with my mom. Like, everything else with my mom's fucked. I got to give up that too, because this fucking guy, no, I draw the line, you know? So it's like, if the work meant something to you, then that's the work, you know? Like, then you can bring positivity to it. You can go, I can out from this, it inspired me to do that. It's when people start going, and then he was right, and then they start wearing shirts and shit, and don't take up their causes, folks. For anybody, it's just advice,
Well, Mario, I'm not going to get into the whole thing going down with Neil Gaiman. If you want to find out about it, you can Google it. There's SA charges pending on 3 different continents by 3 different people, totally non-related, bunch of allegations.
I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, dude's been involved with Scientology.
Yeah, he'll have his day in court. Oh, that's something else about Scientologists I want to get into, man. Like, I fucking hate all religions. So I get into this all the time because I like Mission Impossible movies, and people are like, you support that Scientologist Tom Cruise? I'm like, I fucking hate all religion. All of it. You take away tax exemptions in this country for religions, and then most of them go away overnight.
Yeah.
So, like, fuck all religions. I don't, whether they're made up, they're all made up. There ain't no real one. You're deluding your fucking selves. So I don't give a shit,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean that as like a personal attack on you or anything.
Oh, no. But we were talking about that last stream, dude. Like,
when I slam on Neil Gaiman for being part of Scientology, it's not because he's part of mainstream Scientology. It's because his parents were involved in the indoctrination program. It was illegal. They were involved in the death of at least one person, and Neil has written a book about it where he painted the guy out to be a piece of shit. Okay? It's not me just personally like taking offense to somebody's religion. I don't care what fucking race, creed, color, religion you. I know,
but I've been dealing with this recently because I like the new Lincoln Park, and they're like, the chick's a Scientologist. I'm like, hey, you want to know what the Mormon Church does to fucking kids and put them into Catholics? Like,
did we not just get out of like what? It's been 20 years of fucking. Like constantly finding out that they're moving fucking priests around, and they knew about this, and they knew about that. Yeah. Like, fuck on,
worldwide.
Everybody. I mean,
they're making fun of it in Airplane. Like, go watch Airplane when their nuns are reading Boys' Life and the boys are reading Nuns' Life. Like,
I mean, I get it. It's easy to put a label on it with shit like Danny Masterson going down, but.
Yeah, but that's if I just tell people right now, type in whatever religion you think is good, and then put arrested right after it into Google, and just put the last week into search results. Okay, and I guarantee you, every one of them has a recent arrest. So it's like, I just don't like that. My whole problem in this country, man, like they just think, if one person it was this fucking thing. It's like, no. That was the thing they used to get away with their shitty behavior, But if it wasn't that, it would have just been something else. So, like, it's just ridiculous that any one is better than the other, in my opinion.
Well,
even if you go listen to Dan Carlin's, the series he did on World War II in the Pacific, right? Pacific and the Pacific of, a whole thing on the Japanese the Japanese during World War II and everything leading up to it. And he's like, look, even here, Buddhist monks get radicalized into Imperial Japan, so whatever you think is super peaceful, anything can get radicalized and turn into, that's just the nature of these things. They're designed to take away individual thinking or allow abuse at the end of the day, blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, I'm going down a tangent, but I'm not saying because you said that, but just this past month, man, it's just been like, I just laugh when people are like, oh, Scientologists are the worst. I'm like, oh, all right, buddy. That's like me saying, man, dude, fucking corporations or pick whatever else. So work for hire is the worst, or you know what I mean? Like, no, it's all fucking. At the end of the day, dude, people will abuse if given the chance. I mean, even Mr. Rogers gave the kids the bird once on live television. Is that real video, by the way? The Mr. Rogers with the two bird?
It is, but it's totally out of context. He's not flipping the bird. I can't.
I know, but was the bird a thing when that came out? Like
no, and if so, Fred wouldn't have known about it. I don't defend many people, but like if you see the way that he dealt with, and I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he was an African American who came out as homosexual, that worked on the show, and he'd been with Fred since the beginning, and it was a very big.
Oh no, I love Mr. Rogers. I'm just being an asshole, dude.
No,
okay.
Way to sum it up, like who Fred was, like, you know, he was he was a man of the cloth. He was an ex-preacher, and like, it was a decision, like, dude, at that point in the 60s, it was very, very big deal. And like, he came to him eventually and he told him, he was like, I've known you for many years and I love you very much as a person. And I might not agree with everything that you do, but I love you. And I need to remember that. And maybe you will make me a better, stronger person. And my connection to God will grow stronger that way. And I'll learn more about the world.
And then he gave him the two birds, right?
I just like, there's nobody else that I've learned, that I've done research about, that I've looked into, that I really looked up to as a kid that I can say that shit about. Fred Rogers was a good fucking man.
No doubt.
Like, breaks my heart, good guy. Like, I don't know what kind of cloth he was cut from, but we need fucking more of that shit. And there's my weepy weird moment for the night. Sorry, guys.
If you want to start a religion, worship Fred Rogers.
Dude, I love.
And you find out he was the Zodiac killer and shit, you know?
I love how religious he was.
Let's just do a little puzzle. We're going to do a little puzzle today.
All right, everybody. I need you to just decide. Are we going to cut the left one or the right one off?
What's the fastest way to get out of the Bay? The Bay Area. 9 a.m.
I loved growing up the stories about Fred Rogers being a fucking sniper in Vietnam and shit. It's like, what the fuck? I don't know if you ever heard those, but those were like,
he was a sniper in Vietnam?
Oh yeah. Oh, there was like this rumor for years that he had like served in the military, and that like the whole reason.
Wouldn't he have been in the Korean War? He's a little old to be in Vietnam.
Well, yeah. And like on top of that, he would have been a conscientious objector because, you know, he's a fucking priest, but you know, whatever, or a preacher, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, well, you know, they fought the Crusades.
That ruins the.
Oh yeah, the Crusades, another fucking thing religion gave us. Anyway, you know.
It's all right, Rob. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
It might be time to do another binge on that when I'm through with everything. We did on whenever we go on vacation, I always bring some old shows to binge, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like usually from the 70s. The 80s are pretty bad, but the 70s have good, so got, you know, British comedies. So we went through Faulty Towers, and we'll go through Are You Being Served again, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
You a Blackadder guy?
Yeah, I'm a huge Blackadder guy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, of course. That first season, I don't know, but I can appreciate they shot it outside.
It's interesting to see where they went with that so quickly.
Yeah.
Because it was a very undefined, that first series is like, wow, this is pretty funny, but I don't really know if I get the premise. And then season 2 comes along and you're like, this shit is just brilliant, is what this is.
The first time I saw Thor, Chris Hemsworth was Thor, he reminded me of that dude in season 2. The, you know what I mean? The blonde one.
Yes.
Yeah, I forget his name.
I just remember fucking Tony Robbins is the only dude's name I ever remember, and damn it. Yeah, see? Only Tony Robbins.
Mm.
I wish I could remember everybody else's name because Percy's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, wasn't his name
Richard
Thor
Bless.
or Thor? Was it what's his name? What the fuck was that dude's name? Was his name Thor? It was some crazy fucking shit, but in the Queen Elizabeth era.
I don't remember about the Queen Elizabeth era. Because I just remember Percy from the first like season, and then because it's so it fucks me up because they changed like most of the people's names
Right.
at least once, and you're like, what the shit? I remember being so confused as a kid.
Yeah, it's been a couple years. I should put it back in the rotation.
I always get. I got a buddy, fucking Bob, that always pops in, and he's like one of my good buddies. I just annoy the shit out of him because I always say his name is Bob. Hello, Bob. For whatever reason, that is like my favorite part of fucking Blackadder. I do not know how he made Bob into the funniest shit in the world. And for years, I thought I was crazy. And I was watching an interview with Rowan Atkinson from like maybe 6 months ago. And they were like, how did you make Bob the funniest word in the English language? And they had like a 10-minute section with him about how he came up with like the weird pronunciation of Bob. It's like, I'm not alone. I always just thought that was the strangest thing to think was fucking funny, but I could not help it. Note to self: fucking never use Frisket again because it sucks.
Honestly, man, you could just get away with it with Post-its. You know, if it's not perfect, it doesn't have to be.
On my goddamn last piece, I had one that fucking leaked and it just didn't hold up, and I got really upset, and I was like, it won't take me that long. 30 minutes fucking later. Still cutting here on this stupid shit.
What time is it? We got another 60 minutes. Time flies here on the NDA podcast, folks.
Time
That's
flies.
why I'm like, I better get moving. Like, time flies so fast when we're talking, dude. I'm like, don't slow down, bud.
I know, man. I have to remind myself, like, stay on top of this shit. But admittedly, I do way better whenever I'm talking to you than when I'm fucking just hanging out alone.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I like can focus better.
Yeah, I've actually don't have time to make dinner now. I'm getting to that phase of the deadlines. So I've gone to Chef Unity and just spent money for pre-made meals for the next 2 weeks. I'm like, we're in that phase.
Jeez, dude. That's rough.
Yeah. It's okay. Look, look. I can't say I wish, we'd only done the 3 issues, because it legitimately, the 4th and 5th issue, not just the writing, not just my art or the colors, but like, I just saw John's lettering and he's really getting it down. Like, I was genuinely like, man, dude, this fucking looks cool.
That's always
So it's like, yeah. It was super exciting, dude. Like, so, and you know me, if I didn't believe in it, I just wouldn't say shit.
Yep.
You know, I just bum 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 bum. But so it's like, you know, it's like, okay, I'm glad, but there was just there was things beyond my control that caused delays on 5. So now I'm just like, here we go, you know. It's doable, but it's gonna be a fun one.
It's gonna get fun, folks.
It's gonna get fun. It's gonna get fun. So like right now, what I'm doing is I literally, to keep like everything moving, I got KMFDM instrumentals on a loop. I got UFC fights on in the background, and a podcast going, you know, at the same time.
Got to keep that level of insanity going around you, you know.
Yeah. If it were when it was crunch time in an art department, it was pretty easy because everyone was sharing in the suffering. But when you're the only one sharing, and you're the only one in the room suffering, you're like, you gotta, you know.
Yep.
You gotta feel
like 11. Get Mountain Dew, motherfuckers.
Christian Thompson says, going to read issue 3. Spawn kills every spawn, hopefully tonight. Spawn kills every spawn. Spawn kills everything is a different series. We burnt those series up and pissed on them in the first. I felt bad for that artist when I did that. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna, you know,
eventually I'll hear about this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna hear about that. Like, but I just wanted to do the Calvin P gag, you know, so bad with, you know. I was like, you know what I'm gonna got to do? If we do a second series, I need to repeat that gag where he pisses on these issues, so he can't get too mad. Yeah, I'll write that one down.
Don't worry, guys. We're self-effacing. It was an inside joke.
Yeah, it's just what I do. I just burn everything down. Like, welcome to my life. Oh, it's okay, Christian. No work. And then somebody asked, Rob, I've been meaning to ask, how do you price out commission work? I charge $30 an hour. So I know how long things take me ahead of time. So that's why when you see me like doing a scribbly thing and I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to work on something I can do like in an hour or just say 90 minutes, it's so I can get that pricing down.
Okay, are you kidding me?
But when I do bigger stuff that's going to take, like this took 4 hours to color and 2 hours to draw. So about an 8-hour job between concept to final. So that's a $240 piece. Catch how that works? And then I'll round up $20 for taxes and shipping. So let's say $250, right? Go up $10 for shipping. Then you take out the 30% for taxes, and it comes back down, and you end up somewhere around $180, $170, you know, for 8 hours of work.
Okay.
Christian Thompson says, Spawn kills every spawn, brings life back to the spawn. Oh, you're too kind, Christian. Could you go post that on the League of Geeks or Comic Roundup? Let those guys know. I'd appreciate it.
Fuck.
Those were the ones that were saying, like, not those guys, but Comic Roundup was posting a review of the first issue. One guy was like, I wish Basil Wolverton was drawing this. And I'd have Uncle Jerk explain to me, who's Basil Wolverton? Explain it to me like Venkman. Explain it to me like I've never studied. I don't know anything about Basil Wolverton. I'm going to be honest, my knowledge of cartoonists prior to 1980 is not good. Admittingly not good. If they didn't work for Disney or weren't James Thurber, I didn't pay that much attention. Other than Charles Schultz. Like,
fuck.
so You all right over there? Did you spill?
Nope. My first get caught a little cut in the paper and just tore a huge piece out of the illustration.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so now I'm gonna go see if I can fucking fix that really quick, and then I'm gonna paint this background in, and hopefully.
Be honest though, Christian. Sorry, I mean to cut you off. Thought you were done.
Nope, go ahead. I don't give a shit. I'm just mumbling to myself.
You're better off just telling Thomas Healy what you think, because Thomas doesn't even read the reviews. So you go to Thomas Healy's Instagram, you let him know what you think. You do Rob a solid.
Son of a bitch. I can't believe I fucking just did that. That pisses me off so fucking bad.
This is why Drew Struzan works on gesso. Because he could just paint gesso right over it, see? But you can't do watercolor with gesso unless you do the ground gesso, right? The watercolor gesso.
Yep.
The paper, but it doesn't move the same. I bought some of that stuff. I don't know. It has paper-like qualities, put it that way. Your favorite Basil is Basil Rathbone. Wasn't that Sherlock Holmes?
Basil Rathbone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes. It was a couple years ago. I want to say it was actually a couple years ago. It was like 2019. Like some of the first footage of the first Sherlock Holmes play ever was on film. Like they had recorded it, and it was Basil Rathbone was doing it, stage play.
All right, can't fucking hardly see that. So let's see about this. Jesus Christ.
Somebody says it will be October soon. Any plans you have for the spooky season? Finishing this book, and I got a art workshop on the 11th through the 13th, so I'm trying to finish the book before then. I might pull a few 24 hours. There might be a couple 24-hour shifts, because I also refuse to cut corners. It's a dangerous combination to get into. That's how I did the Spawn Cause piece, to ink it on time. I pulled 24 hours.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, I can still do it, man. You can believe it.
Yeah.
The trick is every 2 hours to stop and go do squats. Nah. Keep the blood circulating in the legs, or your feet will puff up. Look, if I had more talent, it probably wouldn't require that much effort, but I have to deal with the skill set I got here, you know? So. On the upside, I did lose time on some issues because like I'd have Photoshop crash on me. But since I've switched to studio drivers, I've only had one crash, and I don't think it was driver related. I think it was a legitimate Photoshop issue, but it backed up properly that time. So
Ooh, that's rare.
no loss. Christian Tom says, if you like KMFDM, check out Cyanotic. They are my peeps, open for KMFDM. The music with Chris Connolly from Ministry and others had a song in that Teen Wolf series. Rob Liefeld's kid was in that Teen Wolf series, wasn't he? Chase. Look at that. Look at that. Cyanotic. I will add that. Let me go right into my YouTube music and look it up right now before I forget. All right. Thank you for the tips.
They're into industrial. They're good, man. I dig them.
Cool. I will check it out.
Ah, break. Before I do this, I stretch. Like Rob say, I stretch. Oh, you can't see that tear. That fucking makes me happy. Christ, I was so fucking angry. Can't believe that didn't go through the paper.
Whenever I'm working on traditional stuff, even like the color pen, whatever I'm doing, color pencil, watercolor, I always, when I make some goof, I just put it off until the end. And then usually I go, look, I'll fix that when I'm done with everything else. And then what I do is I generally 9 times out of 10, I can't tell where the mistake was.
No, the
it's your case.
The frisket caught and literally shredded the end of the mouth off. It was gone. I don't know how much I don't know how I had enough paper to draw that back in.
Well, David Mack would just turn it into a texture.
That's kind of what I tried.
Right.
We'll see how this rolls.
I appreciate the whole breathing life into Spawn thing. Who knows, you know? Hopefully they'll give me more to do, but if not, I tried. I did my part, to quote Starship Troopers. To quote the Nazis, space Nazis.
Game over, man. Game over. Sorry, I was watching.
That's a slightly different movie, but yes. I just love how the ship is a gun in that movie, man. So good. Of course, old James Cameron was the one that put boobs on that Roger Corman ship in was it Battle Beyond the Stars?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was talking about that's how he got the art director's gig. He's like, no one could knock it. He's like, I know Roger's taste. He put boobs right on it. Instantly approved.
Instantly approved. That sounds about right.
And he'd be like, Rob, did you hear about James Cameron and the AI thing? Yes, I did. I think it's bullshit. And I hope he takes a wash on it like he did Digital Domain, but you know, I love his work, but I don't agree with that one. That being said, Andy Serkis fucking's doing a whole movie with AI actors too. So it's not just a James Cameron problem.
Damn, I didn't know.
Yeah, he's doing a whole movie when people were let down. It was a weird day. We got the James Cameron, the Andy Serkis, and then Michael Bay came out denouncing AI. I'm like, what fucking universe am I living in? Where like fucking siding with fucking Michael Bay, you know? And look, I love The Rock and Bad Boys, but you know, other than that, it's mostly just pain and gain. I like that's it, you know. And I appreciate a lot in that Transformers movie, not the designs, but I can appreciate there is a magic to that first film when it's not getting in the way of itself. Like when the little girl with the My Little Pony is seeing Optimus Prime come out. I mean, there is a magic to that film. If you know, the score helps, the Jablonski score, the way it was shot. Like when all those Doom buggies, the military guys are rolling out with the Autobots, and I'm like, it looks just like the Gen 1 G.I. Joe Doom buggies, you know? I was like, that's G.I. Joe and Transformers, man. I don't like Revenge of the Fallen at all, but the opening sequence is good, and the very last shot of that movie has Optimus Prime on an aircraft carrier with that Linkin Park music playing, and it's literally, I'm like, that's the fucking USS Flag, right?
The US flag,
yeah, the giant fucking Toys R Us toy. So I'm like, I got, you know, for me, I'm getting a different thing here, you know. But I just think what it is, man, is everyone's afraid of which way the industry is going to turn, so they're all trying to get ahead of the curve. And I was just like, I'm like, I don't think, you know, I just wish if the legal system moved quicker in this country, there would already be lawsuits and they wouldn't be doing any of it, you know? I mean, there is good uses for AI. It's just not limited learning machines. Limited learning machines are trained on people's stuff, but there are, you know, stuff in the medical industry which was built on, you know, their own algorithms, which certainly helps find cancer and all sorts of shit. So if that's worth spending the money on, with water and energy. But I don't know if we should be depleting oceans and rivers and reactivating 3 Mile Island for spell checkers, you know? Call me crazy here. Yeah. However advanced those spell checkers may be, something tells me, you know, there's probably another way to do it. Or if they want, they can foot the bill for a fucking that mirror project, you know, where they were going to put mirrors to reflect energy down, you know, from space. Yeah, if fucking OpenAI Stability and Microsoft want to foot the bill for that, then hey, if you give us free energy, then fine, whatever, you know. I mean, you still got to deal with the we stole people's shit, you know. So, you know, those lawsuits will have to happen. But whatever. I will not be using any of it. I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way because that's how I am. You know? I don't. It's the same reason why, you know, I don't like people finishing my lines for me. I like to finish my art. You know, and I work extensively with my colorist because I'm aware that my colorist gets the final say on my art, and I'm, you know, you go have to feel that relationship out. You know, like on the first issue, I was like, I think he was trying not to like, he was trying to live up to what I would want and what they want, and then so it was really, you know, I don't know, less cooperative on the first issue. They were still there. I gave my notes. But I'd say by the fourth issue, man, I just think it's like there's legitimately gorgeous pages. You know, and in the third issue, like there's some really good stuff in there that I was like, man, I had a vision, and look at that. We made it happen. Now, if the shit don't sell, well, then I learned my lesson. I had a vision, and like Megalopolis, it was a fucking colossal waste of time and money. You gonna see Megalopolis when it eventually comes to streaming?
Which one is Megalopolis?
Coppola's new batshit crazy film. Dude.
Oh, Coppola. Yes, maybe. I don't.
It's so fucking crazy, dude. I figured it had to be up your alley on some level.
Well, yeah, but it's I am burnt on a lot of those older directors, man. I don't really understand why they're still making films, and like they don't really have much to say to me. But yeah, I'll probably eventually see it. If that makes I just
I'm says, who would think Michael Bay would? Yeah, I know, right? Sorry, just reading the.
No, you're fine. I just think like,
yeah, I don't. I know what you're saying. I don't know, man. Like, I think Scorsese would do really well with TV series, you know. And I wonder if Coppola would have done better with like, I don't know, man. That guy's made a good fucking movie, and I'm gonna be honest, man. I like The Outsiders. I think that's the last thing he did. I like. No, Tucker. He did Tucker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Tucker.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not even a car guy. I like the movie, you know. Jeff Daniels, everyone's in it.
Oh yeah,
sense
no,
of optimism.
it's a good movie. I'm just surprised. Like, yeah, I mean,
oh, you're always surprised by me, right? Like
that argument can be made. Yeah, I like some of his more, I guess, cheesier work. So. Coppola got really fucking weird. At least he didn't end up doing a whole shit ton of stuff like One from the Heart of Saturday Night. Oof. Man, did I want to like that movie. Man, did I not like that movie. And Zoetrope ended up fucking him. You still there? Uh-oh. Did we lose Rob? I think we lost Rob. Usually it just has to reboot the stream. Hopefully he's not having like internet issues. Probably StreamYard again. It's always StreamYard. Well, geez. I don't know. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. My phone just updated, so maybe I missed a message from Rob. Of course it did. Nope. Now I'm getting all types of beeps. No, not Rob. I don't know. Hopefully he didn't get kidnapped midstream. It'd be terrible. Storm in, take all the art. Make off with Rob, lock him up. Make him make comics till the end of time. I told you all Image was evil.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. We back?
There you go.
All right.
Yeah. Not one internet outage all week, right? But the second I stream.
I wouldn't know anything about that, Rob. Nothing.
Right.
My stuff always works so immaculately.
Okay. I don't even know what I was saying. What was I saying?
I don't know. I just looked up and I was rambling about something and I looked up and you were gone and I was like, oh, well, I'm sure he'll be right back. And then you weren't. You left me hanging and I was trying to be interesting and I'm not good at that, man. Come on.
Gimmie Spawn killed Rob. Yeah, well, Spawn might kill Rob, be the name of the next series. Right.
I was saying like Image Central like had shown up to kidnap you to make you draw further issues. I just had to make sure it got done on time.
Yeah, if I complain one time, they're like, well, see, if you just drew less, that's not the problem, guys. All right? It's not the problem. It seems like it might be the problem. It's not the problem. So it's just, I just got a lot of difficult things to draw, man. Like,
Oh,
you
dude.
know, when you get to the final act, if you're, it ramps up. So it's like, how do you deal? Like, issue 3, I'm not going to say this now because some of you haven't read it, but there's some new characters introduced in issue 3, and like all those characters had to be designed. That ate up time. I didn't just crank out a new design in 2 seconds. Like I managed to do all the designs in about Spawn Force, which has already been shown off. That was a full day, which is pretty fast, I think. But still, it's a full day. And then these other characters took another couple days to work out. Maybe 3 days. Those were harder.
I have no doubt, man. You put your heart and soul. That's what I was talking about earlier. It's real lore.
Yeah. I intentionally, there's some designs, dude. You're gonna be like, those are some crazy designs. Yeah. I intentionally over-designed some characters, so they would be batshit crazy.
I would expect no less.
Like, yeah, it's one of those things where Eric Larson would be like, you should never design a character like that. That's not how you get a monthly. I'm like, well, I don't draw a monthly book, Eric.
Thank God I'm not shooting for issue 300. Dang it. Ran out of blue right before I finished. Piss. All right. Stretchy time, and then I got to mix more blue, and then I got to finish this, and then I'll be done, and then I can have fun for a few minutes and ink some Spawn. Yay!
I gotta.
Yeah, exactly, Ravale. You can see how I have to draw whenever you watch the stream. Like, you kind of get a better understanding of why I say that I'm always, like, at a weird angle. I don't necessarily draw the other way, the way other people do. You know what I mean?
All right, folks. We're having all sorts of weird stream issues, and we're already at the 2-hour mark here. So why don't we just wrap it up? Because I want to finish a few things.
Rob is stressed and needs to work. Let's let him work.
I feel like I'm going to spend the last 15 minutes watching the internet going now for no fucking. I don't even know what it is, man. It's certainly not me because it's happening on my other computer, so it's definitely my ISP, So someone probably hit one of those like transformers or some shit,
Oh yes, I do.
So my heart goes out to anyone having to deal with the hurricane right now. All right, seriously, man. Like, if you guys know anyone out in Florida, North Carolina, I might know Hector. I don't know if he's in the pathway, but they already in North Carolina before the stream started just enacted price gouging laws because of those emergency acts they put in during emergencies and stuff. So get the hell out the way if the hurricane's coming for you, folks. 20-foot swells, Roman. 20 feet.
Holy crap.
Yeah, pretty fucking nuts, dude. So please, if you know anyone, check in on him. I'll give Hector a heads up. And then I guess Steven's out there. I gotta check in with Steven, damn it. He's in Florida.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's where he lives. I just realized that now. So I'll send him a text before I get to bed, make sure he's all right.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I hope so, man. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I hope so too. I don't know where he is, but he's out there, so I'll check in. And but yeah, I got some fun Easter eggs in issue 5 coming, folks. Fun Easter eggs. Even I'll share some with Roman really quick when we get off. I think he'll get a kick out of it. And then again, if you love the book, please, man, just let Thomas Healy know. Healy, Thomas Healy, let Image Comics. Todd doesn't really pay attention to his socials, so like it's good for engagement, but you know what I mean. Like be visible there. Don't review sites and shit. Don't do me no good. So and thanks for hanging out. I'm gonna be back on Tuesday or Thursday of next week. It depends on my schedule. We'll definitely be doing at least once a week. Thursday nights for certain. If I'm ahead of schedule, then we'll do it Tuesday night. If I'm behind, we will not. I had to postpone the book show I was going to do with Roman on Sunday because like I can't devote the mental energy to this right now.
I can't do this.
Yeah, and I'm supposed to do Sketch versus Sketchcraft tomorrow with Steven, but I'm probably going to postpone all of those shows until I'm done with the book because right now every hour counts, folks. So yeah, it's just going to be the way it is. That's the life, folks. That's what we sign up for. But I appreciate your patronage and I appreciate you guys hanging out with us here because man, socials, you never know, man. You just know you never get to interact with folks. I'm never going to be at cons. This is the place to hang out. So go check out Uncle Jerk and Jerk Comics on YouTube. His documentaries are on YouTube. Their links are in the description below. He's a Jerk Comic on Twitch. And I am Sketchcraft. If you want to buy some art and stuff I got up, you can go to shopsketchcraft.com. That's my store. Sign up for the newsletter. And whenever I start that damn newsletter, which I will, and once I get it going, it'll be regular. But I plan on putting, if I can wing it, my goal is to put those videos and stuff I want to do there early. I don't know. I'm working on that out. There's going to be exclusive stuff there. Although I do recognize most people don't fucking want 800 newsletters. So I'm going to make sure that when I do it, it's not just me posting regurgitated SEO bullshit to you, you know? So that's my promise to all of you. All right. I'm going to get out of here. Mega Mars says, dang, was hoping to see a Witchblade match at Darkness. No. Steven's a little punk, dude. I'm going to call Steven out right now. So he asked me to do like a different character, gave me a list of them. I said, hey, one of them was Tomb Raider. I'm like, we'll do Tomb Raider. He's like, awesome. I'm like, all right, I'm looking forward to it. And he's fucking drawing Tomb Raider like the other day. I'm like, so you're going to practice all week now for our 1 hour fucking draw off? I thought we were just going to have like we explore it at the moment, you know? Now he's out there like practicing and getting all the shit figured out. I'm like, man, dude. All right, man. Whatever you need, just whatever makes it easier for him. I don't care. I don't have all week to practice for this fucking thing. I just like hanging out, you know. So whatever. As retribution, I'm canceling the show until I'm done with Spawn. So, all right, man. I gotta go, guys.
Have a good one.